The main trainers is really top of the class, I would say. They are amazing, you know, how they interact with the people, how they set up the business cases. This is amazing. And secondly, what I also really liked is that the high class of different guest speakers who came in, different topics from different locations, and I really enjoyed the quality of these guest speakers. So they were definitely not randomly picked people, but fully implemented in the program and the goals to reach.
I think before I came to this program, what I was not able to do was to think critically in situations of crisis and emergency, and I was not very good at thinking at my feet. But now I've learned critical thinking capacity, and I think I know how important it is to make quick decisions. I think I've learned that skill, and I've picked that skill up in this training. But day 1 and day 5, I feel there's a lot of difference in me because I am getting used to being out of my comfort zone, and I am getting used to being challenged and responding to the situations like that. So it has brought about a lot of change in me, which I think I should take this learning back home and use it in my work life and my personal life as well.
The trainers are approaching the participants in a very decent way. I like it because they do not put themselves in a positions of professors or academicians. We have a great atmosphere during the discussions, and they approach every single participant equally. It doesn't matter what the background of every participant is, whether it is business, whether it is political science, whether it is any other field. They really try to teach us whatever they can during the session, and they are not only available for us during the sessions, of course. What I specifically like about them is that they are available almost the whole day throughout the week.
The programs are very extensive. You do a lot of work inside. You also get the theory, but most importantly, you also get the application, where the trainings are filled with action. Sinan-Wren programs, especially the programs and the methodology that they use, especially the case methodology, is about giving you bigger dreams. So you find yourself with your own dreams, with your own projects, and you try to come up with something big. You try to imitate the big companies and their working styles, and you try to make a project out of that. That gives you a dream. That gives you something to chase for the rest of your life. That gives you a dream to become bigger than you are right now.
We had a Skype conversation with Samantha Power, another one with Daniel Levy. We have also other ones, but to me those two were pretty amazing, like very unique. It's really important because you speak to those who works on their daily life, who change things, who change the world. Pupils from all around the world, no matter from where are they coming, no matter what are they doing. By the end of the day, all of them are serving for a better world.
An advantage I had on one level was because I had been a journalist, and even though I was only a freelancer, I was writing for the Washington Post and The Economist. Because I'd been an academic at Harvard before I met Obama, and I even created a human rights center called the Carr Center for Human Rights Policy, and I'd done a fair amount of activism. I guess I really could appreciate from within government the power of the levers that you have. So even when I was falling short as I did routinely within government, I felt like I was still able to get more done from there than I could from the outside.
In order to make a democratic polity, an open political system work, you have to be able to talk about your opponents as people you disagree with, not as traitors, not as enemies of the state. That kind of talking about them as traitors, as enemies of the revolution, as enemies of the state, as enemies of Egypt, that's going to terrify them, and rightly so. That's not the way it works in a democratic, open political system where you aspire to have the peaceful rotation of power.
I come from Wall Street. There's a term that we use all the time, and it's called I bet, or someone bet on something. To use the term bet, again, is a gambling term, but actually in the context of Wall Street and in the context of diplomacy, it actually means that you are taking a risk on something, but it's a calculated risk. And that calculated risk is no different than a farmer who plants his crops and hopes for good weather, or a merchant who takes his good to another town and hopes for good prices. You have to be informed as much as possible and hope that in terms of the risk, the odds are in your favor.
Many regions of the world to understand what problems exist, what are the challenges that we are faced with as a human civilization, and how can we understand these problems better, and how can we come up with better solutions to all these problems.
Foundation is about thinking big and getting people to think big. We use case studies of global companies or global brands so people know them, and people already have got some idea of it. And that connects, that helps us to connect. Today, the world is a global village, and it helps us to connect to people in different cultures by using case studies and by using examples, real-life examples of organizations that do exist in multiple countries.
Our participants are exposed to leaders at the highest level and thought leaders from across the world. The participants stay up themselves because they are motivated, they're committed, and they appreciate each other. They work hard together, they work long hours together, and in that the group gels and bonds. And that sense of success, having delivered a project together, is almost euphoric. So as they depart to go home, long-lasting friendships are formed.